Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to demonstrate on how to enlarge the canal using RT files and as well as the glide finder. First is we should have the preoperative radiograph. My tooth length image is 23 millimeters. When I do the apical patency, I just have to add 0.5 of a millimeter. So I'm going to get size 6 because the canal is very narrow, and I'm going to measure it at 23.5. Make sure that the canal is wet because the rule is never work on a dry canal. So I'm going to irrigate. Okay. I'm using gauge 30 of the needle. And now I'm going to insert this 23.5 millimeters. Okay, I'm going to start it first on the mesiobuccal and do the watch one until it reaches at the reference point. It, it's now reaching my reference point. So the canal is patent. I'm going to do it now on the mesiolingual canal. Okay, mesiolingual. I'm going to do the same. Watch one, little by little. I'm going down. It's patent. I'm going to do the same thing on the distal. I do the watch one, and now it's reaching the reference point. Since the canals from the cervical and the middle third is very narrow, if I'm going to insert size 35, it's 19 millimeters, so it's not reaching the reference point. In doing crown down preparation, I'm also going to use the RT files. So I'll try to use size 55. It's now reaching just the orifice. So what about the length? As I've said, it's only about crown length plus even 1 millimeter, just at the orifice to enlarge the orifice. And to enlarge the orifice, I'll do the rimming action using the RT file and then put it up. This is on the mesiobuccal. And then I'll go now to the mesiolingual. And now I'll do the same on the distal. And then, of course, I have to irrigate again. Okay, I will irrigate. I'll go back to the patency file. Okay, it reaches the reference point. So after using the 55, I'm now going to use the size 50. Up to what length? So that should be 11 mm. So I'm enlarging now the cervical third. Then I go to mesiolingual. I'll do the same on the distal. And after irrigation, we do the patency again. Whatever system you're using, always go back to your patency file. See, it can easily get in now. I will also do the same on the mesiolingual. And then I'll go for the distal. I'm going to try to reach the middle third now. Where should you really stop? You stop at the curvature. I'm now going to use the size 45. So I'll just insert this size 45, maybe 15. Okay. I'll do clockwise rotation, rimming, and then counterclockwise. And then I'll go to the mesiolingual, and then distal. So irrigate again. Okay. Now I'm going back to my patency file. Look, it can easily get in about the mesiolingual and then on the distal. I'm now ready to do my working length. I'm going to select my IAF. And how do I select it? My tooth length image is 23 millimeters. I will try to insert a file that will reach 22.5 millimeters, and it should have a resistance. I'll try to use size 8 now. I'm using glide finder. So I'm going to measure this at 22.5. Okay. Now it's reaching my reference point and it has a resistance. Okay. And I will do the same thing on the mesiolingual. And now I'm going to put it on the distal. So since it's now reaching my reference point, and then I will take a radiograph. Okay, I have taken my working length, my IAF selection as well. my tabulation for the mesiobuccal canal. So I started with size 8, followed by 10. This will now be my serial filing, 10, 15, 20, 25. And my working length is the same thing, 22.5, because the difference on the radiograph from the tip of the apex is zero point 0.5. And my reference point for the mesiobuccal is the mesiobuccal cast tip. So irrigate it first. So I'll be starting on the mesiobuccal. Okay, work on this file up to the reference point. So I just have to do watch winding technique and up. Okay. When it's loose, I can do some filing motion. I will irrigate again slowly. And then I'm now going to change my file to size 10, and I'll put some of the EDTA. So it's not that difficult anymore. Irrigate to remove the debris. Then here's the size 15, still measured at 22.5. Some EDTA. Okay. See, it's not that difficult because this type of file is quite aggressive and it is bendable. Know that there's a curvature on this tooth. Then it's time for me to irrigate again. And then I'll move to size 20, measure at 22.5, put some EDTA. Always make sure that you reach the working length, and then irrigate again. This now be my MAF, measure at 22.5, put some EDTA on it, do some watch winding technique. So if it can't reach the working length, what are you supposed to do? So I'm just recapitulating. Let's irrigate again. Okay, until it's clear. I'll go back to 25, put some EDTA. So usually I work one canal at a time. Then I'm now ready to do the step back. I will irrigate first. Okay. Next, I'm ready for 30, 35, and 40. This is now step back. Put some EDTA. I can feel that the canal is smooth. So this is now your recapitulation. It's still reaching the length. And then I'll go now to size 35. So this is now 2 millimeters short of the working length. Recapitulate using your MAF at 22.5, which is the working length. Still reaching the length. You remove the step it has created. And then, of course, irrigate. Okay. And then I'll go to the last file for this canal. I'm now using 40. This is now 3 millimeters short of the working length. I'm going to do watch winding technique. Go back again to my MEF. Now I'm doing circumferential filing already. Irrigate again. And just do the same thing for the other canals. We start from our IAF until we reach the MAF, and then we do the step back. I'll start again with a size 8 at 22.5 for my working length. I'll put some EDTA and start on the mesiolingual. It's loose. I can do some filing motion. Of course, irrigate. And then I'm ready for size 10 at 22.5 still. Put some EDTA and then insert and then do watch winding. So make sure this is loose. Irrigate again until the irrigant is already clear. And then I'll start to use size 15, still measured at 22.5. Okay. Put some EDTA on it. Okay, it's loose. So of course, irrigate. And then I'm ready to use size 20, measured at 22.5. Put some EDTA. Okay. Do watch winding technique again. Okay, until it reaches the working length. Okay, irrigate. I'll now go to my MEF, measure the 22.5, put some EDTA on it and do some watch winding and go up. Okay, reaching the working length already. There's really a curvature. I'll show you the radiograph of this. I can feel some resistance because of the curvature. Now I'm going to the step back technique. Okay, insert. This is now 1 mm short. It's reaching the length. I just have to go out, watch wind. And then, of course, do not forget to recapitulate using your MEF and irrigate. I'm going to use the 35, 2 millimeters short of the working length, and 20.5, some EDTA, insert and mesiolingual, do watch winding technique. So I am now going back to my MEF, irrigate again. There should be no binding. And my last file for the step back is 19.8. Do watch winding until it reaches the working length again. It's my MEF. It reaches the length. I just have to do circumferential filing. Irrigate again. Now, I'm going to start now with the distal, which is the last canal. So I started with size 10 here. It's 22.5. So I'm now putting it on the distal. Okay, so as I've said, when it's loose, I do push and pull. Irrigate again. And then I'll be starting with 15, still at 22.5, and put some EDTA. So you do the watch wind technique again. And then irrigate. And then I'll go now to size 20. Okay. Okay, it's reaching the length. Irrigate. So I'll go to 25, measured at 22.5 still. Put some EDTA on it. Okay, it's reaching the length. So this is my MEF. It's loose. Irrigate again. So I'm now going to do the step back, measure the 21.5. Okay, put some EDTA. Okay, and do watch one. See? Okay, it's loose. Then go back to your MEF. It's reaching the canal. It's loose. It's patent. And then I have to irrigate. Last two files, and we're done. Then I'm using size 35, 2 millimeters shorter of the working length. Put some EDTA. Insert again, and it's loose. Recapitulate with my MEF, goes to the length, and it's smooth. Irrigate. And we're down to the last file, which is size 40. This is measured at 19.5. Okay, put some EDTA. Okay, it's reaching the reference point. Then I'll go back to the last file at 22.5 to my working length. See, it can easily be inserted, and I'm having the apical stop. Now, you might be asking, why did I immediately went to my step back and I have not taken my MEF radiograph? Okay, in real practice, we don't get the MEF anymore because we have the apex locator to check that for us. So the next time we take the radiograph, our pre-operative radiograph is actually the master cone. But for this purpose, earlier, I took my IAF. I'm going to take the MAF of this tooth. I'll show you the radiograph again later. Please make sure that each of the canal will have the apical stop. And what is the importance of that? When you do your obturation, then you will have a better tag back and avoid extrusion of the gutta percha during obturation. So this will be the end of my presentation for the table clinic using the glide finder as well as the RT files. With that, thank you very much. Okay, that ends my demonstration. Thank you.